Good morning, everyone, and welcome back. Let's talk about the forecast. WCNC Charlotte's weather impact for you for today. Number one is definitely going to be a lot of isolated rainfall potential, becoming heavy at times, which may lead to some localized flooding. Storm potential is still in the forecast as well, but it is going to be on the lesser side of the impact. And what I mean by that is that the flooding is a little bit higher than what we'll see in terms of frequent lightning and gusty winds. But what I do want to point out, though, is that we have seen some heavy rain over the last few days. So even if we see wind gusts that are not to severe criteria, if you have any, loose roots in some of those trees, maybe even in your yard, because of the saturated ground, even wind gusts that are not to the severe criteria could certainly bring some of them down. So please be mindful of that, especially as you're kind of preparing for your day. Make sure you are keeping a close eye on those things, even as you're just driving out and about today. Also, with all of the temperatures, the things that we've been talking about the last few weeks, I know it's easy to see the 7-day forecast and see the 80s and think, oh my goodness, what a nice break. But although the heat, yes, we're getting a break from that, the humidity is still extremely high. It is still air you can wear. And so while it still feels relatively uncomfortable in a few spots, we're also seeing that high humidity that feeds into all of the heavy rain we're seeing so far today. So right now we have the front that's situated just to our north. This is going to feed in more moisture to areas mainly north of the Charlotte area this morning. You can already see some of that light to moderate rain in portions of Alexander County. We have Caldwell, Burke, and even some light rain up to the northern parts of the mountains, as well as some light to moderate rain on the northwestern side of Iredell County. Now, I have trimmed back our rain chances so far today for the afternoon, especially because of the kind of higher nature when it comes to the front. It's situated a little bit further north than expected. And so this should lower some of our rain chances as we enter into the afternoon Saturday, but it does increase them on Sunday. And we'll take a closer look at why in just a second. So for Saturday morning, still expecting some of that morning rain, but as that front stays just to our north, we actually do get a slight break because that takes some of the moisture pull away from us a little bit further south and actually keeps a little bit more of that storm potential over parts of the Triad and even east of the Charlotte area. So our best storm potential is actually east and north of the Charlotte area. That does not mean that we're not going to see rain and storms. We're just going to see lesser coverage overall, even toward the afternoon. But eventually that front still is expected to shift a little bit further south, especially by this evening, and that will allow for kind of a resurgence of some of these storms, mainly south of Charlotte, I'd say after about 8 p.m. So certainly going to be watching that for our 11 o'clock newscast. And I know KJ will be watching it very closely for you heading into this evening. And then again tomorrow morning, we'll start off with patchy fog. And then as that front will be situated right over us tomorrow, we will expect a little bit more in terms of rainfall coverage. Some of this extremely heavy. And again, going to see some of those gusty winds, even if they're not going to be to severe criteria. Main thing we're watching, the isolated flooding. And then, of course, some of those wind gusts. Definitely going to be rocking and rolling, but not expecting, again, overall a significant risk of severe storms heading into this weekend. And then the pattern you'll notice for the upcoming week is really just more rain and storms, more cloud cover, keeping temperatures in the 80s. But remember, again, it's still going to be extremely humid, so prepare for that. I know this 7-day maybe doesn't look the best if you were wanting a break from the rain that we've had the last few days. But I promise you by the end of the 10-day forecast, we do have some slightly drier days in store.